Hello, welcome back to my little at-home yoga studio. My name's Amy, and I'll be guiding you today through a Valentine's love theme yoga flow. So typically when we think of like love, right, in terms of Valentine's Day, we're thinking more romantic love or maybe even friendship, right? But our flow today is going to be really celebrating love in the sense of the love that kind of permeates all things in our world, right? From small moments of gratitude, kindness, the beauty you might see outside in nature, right? All of these little moments. Self-love, right? The love that we give to others and the love that we receive from others. So love in the sense of that core, universal, kind of binding force that we have that permeates the world, okay? So today's practice, we will be doing kind of a combination of heart openers because, right, we're working with that theme of love. So we're gonna be getting into our heart chakra as well as some hip openers because love, right, is an emotion, force, and our hips hold a lot of emotion. So kind of focusing more on those two areas, of course, hitting all the areas in between as well. Additionally, it'll be a slower practice, more flowy at certain points, but also having moments of strength and connection, kind of igniting that force within, right? Because love is such a powerful force. So we're gonna kind of come in tune, come in connection to our power as well. We'll also kind of separate the flow out into movement and stillness through various meditative moments where I'll share some quotes that resonated with me and I hope resonate with you. And I'll also share some affirmations as well. So as always, take what you need, leave what you don't. Anytime something doesn't feel good or loving in your body, just let that pose go, find something else that's more suitable for you. And I hope you enjoy this practice. So with that being said, you can start in any position that feels loving and natural to your body. I'm gonna start in Sukhasana Easy Seat, but as I said, find any position anywhere on your mat that feels best to you. And as you find that position that is right for your body in this moment today, grounding through the earth beneath you, you're seated, grounding through your sit bones, maybe you're lying in your back body, just melting into the earth. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes, whatever feels best to you. And I'll just start off this practice with introducing us to the first quote that I'll be sharing today. The quote begins, "Love is never lost. If not reciprocated, it will flow back and soften and purify the heart." I'll repeat it once more. Love is never lost. If not reciprocated, it will flow back and soften and purify the heart. So just take a moment and let that quote sink in. Maybe it resonates, maybe it doesn't, maybe a part of it or just a piece of it is really, connecting with you and your heart. I'll share why I really connected with this quote. I think oftentimes, right, we all maybe have had a negative experience with love before, whether we're giving love in, a romantic sense or friendship or just in general, right? Just showing loving kindness to a stranger, where maybe if we don't see a positive reaction or it's not reciprocated in whatever way that may mean, we feel as if it's love wasted or energy wasted or, there was no point or purpose. But love in and of itself is this beautiful force in which, like I said, everything kind of comes back to. That's the core of our being. Most people, right, if you ask them what they want most in life, I think love, right, or something kind of surrounding that would be most of our answers. And love, even if given and not received, is not wasted, right? Because you're still extending that light, that energy out, and it does come back around. And just as they say, to give is to receive, right? By giving that energy, you are still receiving love and abundance back. And maybe not in that moment, but it does flow back around. So maybe just sit with this thought, right? That love is never wasted. Love is ever flowing. By giving love, you are receiving that love. offer you to take a few more moments here, just settling into your space before we begin the asana, the movement practice, the poses, the postures, just allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself to fill yourself up with that love that resonates within you. I will also offer up some affirmations today, affirmations that are kind of surrounding this idea and theme of love. Again, take what you need, leave what you don't. If it resonates, beautiful. If it doesn't, amazing as well. The first one is, I am worthy of love. So repeat to yourself, out loud or silently, I am worthy of love. The next one goes, I am surrounded by love. Repeat to yourself, I am surrounded by love. I give and receive love freely. I give and receive love freely. And then lastly, my favorite, I am love. Once more, I am love. And with those affirmations settling in to your heart, that space in which we hold love, which we house that beautiful energy that we give and receive. Take a deep breath in and exhale, releasing that breath out. A few more times, maybe starting to find some slow movements, breathing in, breathing out. Last time, inhale and exhale. Wherever you're at, meet me on all fours. Just moving my little notebook. I cannot memorize those quotes. But meet me on all fours in tabletop position. We're gonna go through a little bit of cat-cow variations here. So you can just begin by inhaling, dropping your belly gaze up, cow pose, and exhale, rounding through your spine, cat back. And you could stay in this traditional cat-cow, just finding some nice authentic movement through your spine. Or I offer you up to kind of make it your own. So I like to kind of bring my hips and roll into it. I call these cat-cow rolls or circles. So just kind of find whatever feels natural to you. Again, letting yourself move in that loving way, allowing yourself to feel good in mind and body. Circling out through those hips, moving through the spine. Taking it one more time, inhaling, dropping your belly gaze up. And exhale, rounding through your spine, cat back. And then coming back to tabletop position. This time, I want you to come back into a child's pose and just settle here for a breath or so. Maybe stretching your arms out in front of you. And now we're gonna do some more spinal movement here. So as you inhale, come up forward, kind of slightly over your hands, your chest over your hands, and then exhale, come back into your child's pose. And then just moving like that, moving with your breath, finding that spinal movement, kind of those waves, grounded into the earth through your palms and your knees and shins. And then next time coming forward, come all the way down to your belly. This time we're gonna do cobra rolls. So we're gonna bring our fingertips off our mat into these like spider hands, right? So just fingertips touching the earth, palms floating here. Make sure your feet are about hip width distance apart or further. You're gonna inhale, lift your chest up, gaze slightly up overhead, and exhale, roll back down. And then moving through this, again, just getting more movement through the upper body, opening through your heart center. Find what feels good. There's my baby pumpkin. I don't know if you could see him on camera, but he's a great representation of the love I have. My love for him. And then coming down, we're gonna do what I like to call wing pose. So this is half wing, we're gonna go full wing. So I want you to straighten your left arm out and then plant your right palm right by your chest over here. Gaze is gonna look towards your right hand, and then you're gonna slowly roll your hips. You can keep your hips stacked like this. I like to bring my back foot down. It just kind of allows me to ground a little bit more, and you'll feel that stretch through your chest, especially into that left shoulder area. And then we're gonna come through and go to the other side, and we'll flow this, but in a controlled, nice way, so we don't, find pain or injury here. So this time, left palm is gonna ground, right hand is reaching out to the side, gaze towards your left, and again, stacking your hips, or bringing your foot behind you to ground. And then just find some movement. So you're gonna re-extend the opposite hand as last time, and then come up over, take a moment there, and then coming back through to the opposite side. Just allowing, again, some flowy movement while you're opening up your front body. To the right. And then next time when you're opening up through your left shoulder blade, so your left arm is out behind you, you can just pause here, taking a few moments here. Maybe you want to bind your right hand behind, kind of pretending like you have a pocket. Maybe you do. I'll do my imaginary pocket, putting in my imaginary pocket right there. Then come back through, ground your right palm down to support you, and bring your right hand out, left palm down, and back and around here. Again, maybe finding that bind, left hand in the back pocket. I'm actually gonna fix, my hair is in my mouth. What else is new? And stretch here. You might notice one side is, a little bit less, I guess, intense or, stiff than the other. Just notice, don't judge, maybe, allow some more loving thoughts and kindness towards that side. Our bodies are asymmetrical, and that's actually natural, so it might always be that way a little bit. And then come back through, and we're gonna come into a Sphinx pose here. I'm gonna move up on my mat because my feet are on the hardwood and I don't like how that feels. So, Sphinx pose right here. I like to kind of measure my elbow distance. I was thinking shoulders, but I knew that these weren't my shoulders. Elbow distant apart by bringing my hands in here, grabbing each elbow, and then extending my palms out. Gaze ahead, a nice soft chest opener, heart opener. You have the option for seal pose if that is something that you would enjoy. Again, remember just to honor your body. So I like to bring my palms out slightly, and then you could strain your arms. The closer in you bring your arms, the more back bend you're gonna experience. The thing about this pose is you must be careful for your low back. At least I do, that's a tender area for me. So this feels good, and I'm just gonna stay right here. You can always come back down at any point into Sphinx, right? And Sphinx pose, you can always bring your head forward too. That might feel good. Stretching out the back of your neck. And then once you're ready, everyone come back to Sphinx. We're gonna do kind of like a cat-cow movement here. So you're going to round through, gaze towards your belly. Your hips are gonna lift off the ground, rounding through your back like a cat pose. And then inhaling back forward in your traditional Sphinx position, like a cow pose right here. So, going through these two motions, slowly, lovingly. Two more times. Last time. And then just bring your chest all the way down and come up into a tabletop position, threading the needle here. So I'm gonna start grounding my left palm down. Inhale, right arm up, reaching towards the sky, gaze up. And then exhale, hover it as you bring it through. Another time like that, inhale. And then exhale, hovering. Last time, breathe in. And exhale, this time, allow your arm to reach all the way through. Make sure your hips are not tilting too far to the left, so bring them more towards the center. And again, your left arm can reach up and overhead, or maybe you want to take that bind, like that reaching the pocket. This time it would be more of your front pocket. Can't see too well because my arm's not facing the camera, but just bring your left palm back behind towards your right hip. And then from there, just place your left palm back down if it was bound around your hip, and re-extend your right arm up. Maybe take some wrist circles. And then come back through. We will move on to the other side. So from here, grounding your right palm, inhale, left arm reaches. And exhale, remember we're hovering the first two times. Inhale up, exhale, hover. Last time, breathe in. Exhale, hovering through, grounding. Right arm reaches out in front, or maybe you take that bind, bringing your right palm, or the front, of your hand towards your left hip this time. Make sure your hips are not kind of leaning over towards one side. Bring them back to center. And then reground your right palm if it was bound behind your back, and re-extend your left arm. Take some circles there. Okay, coming back through to tabletop position. We're just gonna get into our hips a little bit, warming up here. So take some hip circles, bringing your right hip out to the side, back, and then down. 2 more times like that. And then reverse, going forward. And then stepping your right foot through. So you coming to this lunge position. You're going to pivot your back foot out. So you're into this grounded warrior 2 type pose, okay? So grounded side lunge. I'm just gonna take a few pulses, warming up through my hips. And then taking kind of a side angle variation here, grounding your right forearm down. Left arm reaches up and overhead. Side body stretch through your left side. And then bring your left palm down. Open up your toes towards the long edge of your mat, straighten out your leg. Side plank variation. Right arm reaches up and overhead. And then come up to gate posture. Left arm reaches up, right arm goes down your right leg. And And let's do that again, side plank. Moving with loving awareness. And then gate posture. One more time, side plank. And then coming back up through gate, back to tabletop position. Maybe just shaking out through your hips. And coming on to our left side. So bringing our left hip up, bringing it back and around a couple times here. And then switch, bringing it forward. And stepping it through. Again, opening up to the side of your mat. So pivot that back foot and come into this side lunge, grounded warrior two. And take a few pulses, leaning your hips forward. And then ground your left forearm down, right arm reaches up and overhead, a side angle kind of variation here. Feeling a stretch through your right side body. And then come on up, ground your right palm down, open up your toes towards the long edge of your mat, straighten out your left leg, left arm reaches up and overhead, side plank variation. And then use your core engage through here, right arm reaches up, left arm comes down towards your left foot, down through your left calf, gate pose. Twice more like that. Grounding your right palm, side plank. Engage through your core, gate pose. Last time, ground down, side plank. And then inhale as you come up to gate and all the way through tabletop position. And then let's just settle back for a moment here. Maybe your palms face up on your thighs. Coming back to the reason why we came to our practice today, to celebrate love, right? That universal love, like I said, that kind of shows up in our day-to-day in small ways, right? Through gratitude, kindness, compassion. Maybe just take a moment to think about something, whether it's been from today or a previous day or within the last month or any moment, a moment of kindness or a little moment of love, whatever that may be. Remember it. Let it sink in. Notice how it makes you feel. Inhale and exhale. Come back and we're gonna power up through our plank. So you can always leave your knees down, right? And kind of stay in this modified variation here, engaging through your core, or stepping back into your high plank position. I like to kind of shift around a little bit until I find a nice spot to settle into. Forehead's gonna draw forward and heels, feet drawing back, engagement through your belly. And then from here, we're gonna kind of do a little wild thing, kind of back and forth motion. So you can always stay in your plank or find any other pose that feels good here. But if you'd like to try and follow along, come along with me. So we're going to keep our right palm grounded. We're gonna pivot on our right foot. So you're gonna come to the side of your right foot and then bring your left foot behind you. Left arm reaches up, wild thing. Come back through to your plank. I like to bring a little bend into my arms to help guide me, and do that to the other side. So pivot your left foot, come into a side plank for a second, and then bring your right foot behind you, right arm reaches. And then come back through. We're gonna do that twice more. So flowing through at your own pace, kind of back and forth, flowing wild things. And then once more. come back to plank. And then lifting up and back with your hips to your first downward facing dog. You maybe want to pedal it out, find any movement that is authentic and natural for your body. Again, moving from a place of love and kindness, love for yourself, for your body, and all that it does for you. And then, whenever you're ready, you can just find some stillness here. Drawing your heels towards the earth, that intention there, of course, heels may not touch, and that is so okay. Make sure you're not dipping your weight all into your wrists, but really finding a nice extension through your palms, through your fingertips, allowing that stretch all the way through your back body. From here, we're gonna do some more spinal rolls just to kind of get into the spine before we go into our first little flow. So you're going to slowly come through all the way to a plank position, then bend your knees and wave back up to downward facing dog. A couple more times like that, as slow or as fast, I guess, as you like. Just find what feels good. And take one more here. And downward facing dog. And now your choice to get to the top of the mat. You can step, hop, jump, whatever feels good. I'm gonna take 2 large steps to the top. Feet about hip width distance apart, and just forward fold here. Maybe shaking your head a little. No and yes. Maybe swaying your hips, kind of moving side to side, front to back, lifting your heels and your toes, just finding some movement. Your lower back should be releasing here. Feels really good. Like I said, of every area in my body, that's the one that I often find feels tense and can use the most love and kindness. So if that's you, then enjoy this. And then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, kind of inch by inch, come up to your mountain pose, Tadasana. Maybe take some shoulder rolls up and back. Fingertips drawing towards the earth. Take a moment here. Bring your palms back to your heart. Repeating those affirmations if they resonate with you. I am worthy of love. I am surrounded by love. I give and receive love freely, and I am love. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reaching arms up and overhead. Exhale, palms back to your heart. Doing some standing cat-cow motions here. So inhale, open, cactus your arms. Exhale, bringing them forward, touching them together. And then moving between the two. Again, opening and closing. Bringing that heart area some attention. Allowing opening there so you can give and receive love freely. Last time. Come back to Tadasana Mountain Pose. And let's flow. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingertips to the earth, palms towards your shins or maybe your thighs. And exhale down. Stepping back into your plank position. Now you can move through a chaturanga, or you can just lift your hips right up and back, downward facing dog. So coming forward, maybe you want to go all the way down to your belly cobra, or you can come with me and go halfway, up dog, hips up, or I should say hips floating, and then hips up and back, rolling over your feet, downward facing dog. From here, ground your left foot. Inhale, right leg reaches. You can open up your hip, maybe take a few circles there, kind of mirroring that movement we did earlier. And then once you're ready, stepping it through, low lunge. Bring your back knee down, untuck your back toes. Inhale, arms reach up, and exhale. Engage through your belly. Make sure that you're taking care towards your low back here. And then from here, we're gonna inhale, bring your arms to that goalpost position. And exhale, reaching your arms up, your hips kind of shift back. Twice more like that. Inhale, exhale. Last time, breathe in and out. Ground your palms down, pick up your back knee, runner's lunge, and then ground your back foot down, pivoting it, opening up into reverse warrior, right arm up, gaze towards the sky. And then bringing your right forearm down to your thigh, left arm reaches up and overhead, extended side angle. Let's flow through those two. So inhale, reaching arm up, reverse, and exhale, side angle. Twice more, breathe in, breathe out. Last time, inhale, and exhale. Pivot, coming back through to your runner's lunge, stepping your foot back, flow through chaturanga, or just meet us any which way you like, to your downward facing dog. Let's bring that into our left side. So grounding through your right foot, left leg lifts this time. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Maybe take those circles there. And then stepping your left foot through to low lunge here. Arms reach up. Again, engaging through your core a little bit, allowing your lower back to have some love there. Inhale, goal post. Exhale, reaching up. 2 more times, breathe in and out. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Ground your palms down, tuck your back toes, lift your back foot up, runner's lunge, then pivot your back foot down and circle your arms up and over, reverse warrior. Can't talk. And then come through, extended side angle, left forearm to your left thigh, right arm reaches up and overhead. Now let's flow. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. 2 more times, breathe in and out. Oh no, technical issues. Inhale and exhale. Come back through to your runner's lunge and maybe make your way through chaturanga, through up dog and downward facing. And then from here, let's come down onto our knees once again and take another moment to come inward, connecting to our heart, our mind, our inner self. You can close your eyes, soften your gaze, put your palms on your shins. That's not your shins. My anatomy's off today. Your thighs. I give myself some love, it's okay. Okay, anyways, to your thighs. You always count on me for some humor. Grounding them, or maybe you want to open them up to receive energy, right? So receiving love, giving love. I'm going to take this time to just offer up another quote. Again, if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, that's beautiful as well. This quote goes, "Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage." I'll repeat it once more. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Just allow that quote to kind of sink in and take what you need from it. Again, I just think that this kind of shows that beautiful duality of what love can do, right? About both giving and receiving love. How accepting love, right, provides you with that support, that strength, that, you know, guidance that we all crave, we all desire, but also understanding that giving love gives you courage and takes bravery and is sometimes difficult, right? As noted earlier, love is not always accepted or easily accepted back. So to be able to give love, that's like a superpower, right? It's not an easy thing to do. In fact, sometimes it's a hard thing to do. Sometimes we feel as if maybe someone has wronged us or doesn't deserve our love, or it's just hard to love them for whatever reason that may be, right? For whatever reason that challenge is arising within you. And by even showing those who you find it difficult to love, that love that, you know, that you're capable of giving, you are showing that you are willing to give love and understand that sometimes it's hard, but you're showing that strength and that courage to do so otherwise. So I just love that quote because, like I said, it shows that duality of love, how love provides for you, but also by giving love, you are also gaining, right, as well. And you are also learning and growing as well. And it has those two sides, and both of those sides are needed, right? We need to both give and receive, and, you know, accepting and receiving can be hard, but giving is also hard as well. So just take what you need from that quote, and like I said, leave what you don't, and just take another moment here in stillness before we move on to our second little sequence, before we start to wind down and come to a close. Inhaling and exhale. Inhale, reaching your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. I am worthy of love. I am surrounded by love. I give and receive love freely. I am love. From here, rising up onto your knees, bringing your hands behind you, interlacing your fingers. Inhale, gaze up, opening through your heart space. And exhale, bringing your hips back down to your feet and forehead towards the earth. Arms reach up and overhead. If this feels good, that's great. Otherwise, you can always lift your hips up and go deeper there. And then hips come back down. Release that. Arms reach out. Come to tabletop position. Just gonna move back a little bit on my mat. And then coming into our puppy posture. So reaching your arms out in front of you. Hips stay over knees. And you can ground your forehead to the earth there. And maybe sway back and forth. Massage out your forehead. You can always bring your chin to the ground if that's in your practice. Just find what feels good. And then coming back up, bring your toes curled underneath you here. Couple options. This is going to be a camel pose, but camel pose can be quite intense, and depending on how you're feeling today, you might not want to take it, so that's fine. You could always stay right here and get a beautiful stretch through your feet, okay? You can come on up and keep your toes tucked under as so, bringing your hands again to like that imaginary pocket. Keeps coming back today. And then again, just kind of lifting your gaze up, finding a point where I like to look where the ceiling and the wall kind of meet. Start there, and then slowly bringing your hips forward. Maybe your gaze starts coming back, and maybe you can even see the opposite point where the ceiling and the wall meet. If it's in your practice, you can always bring one hand down towards your heel, then the other, and just stay there. And then to come safely out of it, bring your palms back in and up. Slowly untuck your toes and come down, neutralizing your spine. Take a moment here. Blood kind of rushes back down. And now we're gonna flow one last time to kind of power up, okay? So, meet me in downward facing dog whenever you're ready. And then from here, step your right foot through, and we're gonna come into a high lunge position. So, arms reach up and overhead. Now, you can do this whole sequence with your hands binded behind you, so interlacing them just like we did before when we were on our knees. Anytime you wish, you can always release that bind, okay? So find what feels good. Inhale, gaze up here, and exhale. Breathe in, and out. And then slowly shifting forward, airplane. Gaze out in front of you, hands can be still bound behind you. And then let's kind of launch off. So you can slowly do this, right, by bringing your left foot more in on your back toes. You could always stay here, or you can come into Warrior 3. Again, anytime you wanna let your hands just open up and let go of that interlace, you do you. And then slowly bring your back foot down, have it pivot open. I like to kind of just leave my hands right here towards my right hip bone and come into a Warrior 2. Breathing in and out. And then humble warrior. This pose always humbles me, so again, do what works best for you. Inhale, gaze up, hands bound behind you, interlaced. And exhale, bringing your shoulders towards the inside of your right knee. And then finally, release there if you haven't yet. Come to a runner's lunge. And then step back into three-leg downward facing dog, right leg lifts. You can open up your hip and stay there, or flip your dog if that feels good. And then I like to kind of bring my hips down. Everyone meet in a plank with your right knee towards your nose. Then bring it back down and kind of coming back to where we began. Side plank variation, left arm reaches up and overhead. And then bring it up to your gate posture. Come back through, circle your arms down, and you could flow through chaturanga or just make your way to downward facing dog. Take a moment to settle in here, and we'll just do that same sequence on our last side and then start to slow it down. So bring your left foot forward into a high lunge. Staying right here for a moment. Maybe moving your hair. And then interlace your fingers again behind your lower back. Straighten out your arms. Inhale, slight back bend. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, breathe in and out. Come back up, gaze forward. Maybe lean forward, airplane position. Leaning forward with your arms interlaced, or again, releasing them. And then let's come into Warrior 3. So bringing your right foot, slowly kind of shifting forward, and then lifting, keeping your arms bound, interlaced behind you, or in any variation that feels good. And then release into a Warrior 2. Again, your hands can stay bound. I like to keep that bind kind of right here tucked into my left hip. Inhale and exhale. From here, humble warrior. Inhale, arms interlace behind. And exhale, bringing your shoulders to the inside of your left leg, forehead toward the earth. And then finally, you could release your hands here, come into a runner's lunge, and then stepping your left leg back into a three-legged dog, opening up through your hip, or flipping your dog, feeling that back bend. And then making your way to that plank. So I like to bring my hips down, come into a plank with your left knee towards your nose, bring that knee down, pivot that leg open, side plank variation, right arm reaches up and overhead. And then gate pose, left arm up and over. And then circle your arms down, come into plank, last chance for chaturanga. And last downward facing dog of the practice. Maybe notice how this one's different from the first one. And then slowly come down, and you can sit up or maybe come into a child's pose, reaching your arms forward and relaxing. A couple breaths here. And slowly just coming up. Take a seat on your mat and make your way onto your back body. So any way to get there, maybe take a full body stretch, laying out, and then bringing your knees in. I love to just kind of gently rock from side to side, massaging my lower back. Again, repeating to yourself, I am worthy of love. I am surrounded by love. I give and receive love freely. And I am love. From here, you have a couple options. You can keep your knees tucked in like so, or maybe come into happy baby. For happy baby pose, you could keep your hands on your shins or your ankles, or maybe take the outer edges of your feet and bring the soles of your feet towards the ceiling, knees towards the earth. Again, I like to kind of sway back and forth. Just make sure your back and your hips are grounded. And then once you're ready, bring your feet down, grounded towards the earth. We're gonna come into a bridge pose. So slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, just lifting your hips. You can stay here, maybe interlace your fingers and shift your shoulders under, getting more of a chest expansion. And then release that and go back inch by inch. And then let's just do a supine twist here. So left leg extends out, right knee comes in, kind of move side to side a little bit. And then bringing it across, up and over towards the left, right arm reaches out, left palm can stay grounded on the side of your right leg, or maybe you want to extend that open as well. See what works for you. Twists are always nice to do to release back bends, so. And they just feel so good and loving. And then come back in, squeeze your right knee in, And switch, left leg comes in, right leg out. Again, just kind of rolling through the hips side to side. And then bring your left knee towards your right side. Left arm reaches up and over, opening. Right palm can stay towards your right thigh or left thigh, or straighten out. Gaze towards your left fingertips if that feels good. And coming back through, squeeze your left knee in, meet your right knee with it. Maybe forehead comes towards your knees, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Loving yourself, giving yourself a beautiful hug. And then release into your final resting position, Shavasana, just allowing your body to melt into the earth. You can always take any other posture that feels good to you, just for this last few moments of stillness before we close our practice. I'm going to offer up one last quote for you to kind of leave with before we come out of our resting pose. So this quote begins, and it might be one that you've heard before. It's one that I've heard before, and it's actually my favorite. So anyways, begins, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So just let that sink in. Taking a few more moments to yourself. Repeat your affirmations and just find that connection to your heart, that space which holds love that you can both give and receive, the love that is all around us. And now slowly, only if you're ready, start to find subtle movements in your body, beginning with your extremities, your fingers, toes, wrist, ankles, head, neck. Allow the movement to get a little bit larger through your arms, your legs. Maybe take a full body stretch if you are laying down, reaching your arms up and overhead, pointing through your toes, and then gently come onto one side, left or right, whichever feels best to you. And then slowly bring yourself back up to a seated position. Inhaling, bringing your arms up and overhead. And exhale, bringing that energy, that love that we cultivated back in towards your heart center. Hands up to your forehead, that third eye point. This point of intuition. The light in me honors the light in every single one of you. Thank you so much for practicing today. I hope you have a loving, beautiful day. If you're practicing this on Valentine's Day, I hope you have a loving, beautiful Valentine's Day. And thank you so much. Please subscribe.